You're the one I... Okay. Stop. I put my love on top.
Please welcome Reverend Gerald Durley.
Good evening. All of you who have voted, say yeah. All of you who plan to vote, say yeah. All of you who are taking somebody to the polls, say yeah. Good evening. As one who marched with Dr. Martin Luther King in the 60s, I am glad to be here tonight. One of the things that we learned before we ever would go out and march, we had to go to God in prayer. God is a prayer, answers many things. And so tonight, before all of the great speakers and our senator and president comes on, let's go to God in prayer. A God who will always order our steps. Eternal and almighty God, we come with bowed heads and hearts of humility to thank you for bringing us together to complete this victory lap for Reverend Senator Raphael Warnock. We pray that you would continue to bless this nation's leadership under President Obama, President Biden, and Vice President Harris. We pray that America will begin to find its way back to one nation under God with truth, liberty, equity, and justice for all. Dear God, in our own limited human capacity, we are in the midst of selecting a leader for the state of Georgia who will lead and govern with a high level of moral and ethical integrity. One who will not only be concerned about the economy, health care, the environment, and world peace, but one who is compelled and motivated to be sensitive, caring, and compassionate for those whose lives have been devastated by unfortunate conditions beyond their control. We believe that you have sent such a prophetic, wise, intellectual, gifted public servant to provide Georgia and America with what it needs to be really the United States of America. This anointed and appointed servant is Reverend Senator Raphael Warnock. We, as a family for democracy, ask you to touch and empower Senator Warnock, touch his brilliant mind, embrace his physical well-being, protect his family, guard his congregation, anoint him with wisdom, compassion, and perseverance beyond measure. We pray for the continued vigilance and strength of President Obama as he continues to inspire a nation to find hope. Give him and all elected officials an abundance of portion of your grace and your mercy. Bless this gathering that it will be productive and the seeds to produce the victory for Reverend Senator Warnock. And when we depart from this place, but never from your presence, let it be known that we will not bend, we will not bow, we will not back up, we will not break. We're marching on to victory. God, you are in the midst. If you believe in victory, give God a hand clap of praise. Praise for Mr. Obama. We will not bow, break. Give God an open and Warnock a blessing. God bless you. Stay strong. Don't bend. Don't bow. Don't break. March to victory.
Please welcome Paige Kinley from Genesis Academy.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Please welcome Regina Bell.
I've never been nervous to sing the national anthem, but... Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, the brave.
Here we go.
Please welcome America Ferrera.
Good evening, Georgia! Wow, I think I need a step or something. Buenas tardes, Georgia! My name is America Ferrera, and I am proud to be here to support the best candidate for U.S. Senator from Georgia, Reverend Warnock. Soy América Ferrera y estoy aquí para apoyar el mejor candidato por senador de Georgia, Senador Warnock. You might know me as Ugly Betty or as Amy Sosa on Superstore, but today I am here as a proud American, as a woman, as a mother, and as a daughter of Honduran immigrants who believes in a woman's right to her body, in human rights, in voting rights, and who believes in the promise of this country, and that our communities deserve to thrive in safety, with freedom and with dignity. Hoy estoy aquí como miembro de nuestra comunidad, como mujer, como mamá y la hija de inmigrantes hondureños. I spent yesterday with my friend and superstar Tessa Thompson. She's here today. Hearing from Georgia voters, canvassers, volunteers, community members, and one thing could not be more clear. Georgia needs to elect the right man for the job. We gotta do it one more time. Tenemos que votar por Warnock una vez más. In just 2 years, Reverend Warnock has fought to lower costs of prescription medications, to deliver real investments to our schools, hospitals, small businesses. He stood up for our veterans, our seniors, and our healthcare workers. El senador ha hecho lo que prometió. Luchó para bajar los precios de medicinas, apoyó nuestras escuelas, hospitales y negocios y defendió nuestros veteranos, gente mayor y trabajadores de salud. I grew up the youngest of 6 children with a single mother who lived paycheck to paycheck. I don't know about you, but I like my elected officials to understand what day-to-day struggle looks like for regular people. Reverend Warnock grew up one of 12 children. He grew up in public housing. He understands that the road is not always easy, but he is ready to continue fighting for you, for us. Warnock está listo para defender nuestra comunidad. Tenemos que sacar a todos a votar. Hablen con sus familias y amigos. Tocan puertas. Lo que sea necesaria para elegir a Senador Warnock. Georgia, you've already been voting like never before. Yet again, you are coming through for all of us. But we have to make sure that we have every vote from now until Election Day. So volunteer to canvass, to knock on doors, to get your community out. That is how we win elections. You get your friends and your family to the polls, and we can send Reverend Warnock back to the Senate for Georgia and for the entire United States of America. Thank you for having me here today. Gracias por tenerme aquí hoy. Vota para Warnock.
Please welcome Renee Ann Rev.
Georgians. I think we know Barack is going to be standing on this because it's so tall, and I'm on my tiptoes right now. My name is Renee Rails, and I'm a resident of Atlanta and a Georgian living with type 1 diabetes, as well as an advocate for people with diabetes like myself through mydiabetes.com. I am so proud to be here to stand with former President Barack Obama and Reverend Warnock. Yes, like many Georgians with pre-existing conditions, the Affordable Care Act was life-changing. It was such a relief to know that you no longer have to worry about if you would have access to health care. Thank you, President Obama. But the fight to make sure every Georgian has access to quality, affordable health care isn't done yet, and that's why I'm here tonight on behalf of Reverend Warnock. Through both his ministry and time in the U.S. Senate, Reverend Warnock has fought to protect the dignity of human beings and make our healthcare system work for all of us. Health equity, not just health care for people in a certain income bracket. Yes. Reverend Warnock successfully lowered the cost of insulin for people on Medicare. That is a feat they said could not be done. Insulin is a drug that people living with diabetes rely on daily. I am one of those people. I have type 1 diabetes, which means I am insulin dependent. Without insulin, I will die, most likely, in a week. No diet, exercise, or nutrition, as a certain person said, will change this. I also did not get type 1 diabetes from eating too much sugar as a child. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease. The patent for insulin was sold in 1923 for $1 because the people said it was for the world. It costs less than $10 to manufacture. The people who need life-saving insulin in America are being charged up to $1,000 per month for their prescription. Indeed. 1 in 4 people ration their insulin because they cannot afford it. But Reverend Warnock continues to push for affordable insulin for all who need it. I know I speak for many of us when I say that Georgians cannot wait to send Reverend Warnock back to Washington to keep fighting for lower costs, to protect our jobs, and for stand up for Georgia families. But in order to do that, we need to do our part and get out and vote. On Saturday, my son, my husband, and I all voted together as a family for Reverend Warnock. As we stood in line for over an hour, I saw people come and go because they thought the line was too long. I wanted to yell, please vote, please stay. It's a matter of life and death, literally. Now is the time to make your voices heard in this election. If we want to win, we need more Georgians to come out every day of early voting and on election day. Yes. So bring a book, bring a magazine, play Wordle, but stay in line and vote. And if you think an hour and a half in line is too long, just imagine what 6 years will be like in Georgia if we do not send the best candidates. And that candidate is Senator Raphael Warnock. Yes. Early voting is from December 2nd, and election day is December 6th. Visit iwillvote.com to make a plan to vote, and thank you so much for having me.
Please welcome Abubakar Sadiq King.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Abubakar Sadiq King, or some of you may know me as Sid King, I'm a 21-year-old political science and marketing student at the illustrious Morehouse College. My family, both my mom and my dad's side, are from Sierra Leone, West Africa. And my siblings and I are first generations, born and raised in this sweet peach state of Georgia. You know, I just want this to be an honest conversation, a safe space for us to determine what this state and country's people need together, to make sure that we elect the most qualified and capable candidate to Senate. I believe that we deserve a well-studied, thoroughly experienced, and passionate person to represent us and tackle the issues that Americans face every day. And luckily for us, I heard Senator Warnock is in town. See, in my case, like many Americans, I carry the heavy burden of student loan debt. I got my student loan relief program approval literally the same day I got invited to speak here, and I couldn't help but think, would I even be having that if it wasn't for someone like Reverend Warnock sitting in that seat in Senate fighting for students like myself? I also was in the hospital. I was sick for 2 weeks in the hospital. You know how expensive those bills are. You know, I was able to be relieved because of people like Raphael Warnock sitting inside of our Senate and making sure that we are being helped medically, financially, that are showing up for us and taking care of the people. I have a mother, I have a sister, I have a niece, aunts, and cousins I would do anything for. I love them, I learn from them, and mostly I protect them. And I've heard some things about the other candidate that makes me wonder how he would treat every single one of us if he feels comfortable treating his own family like that. Senator Warnock, however, is a well-rounded Morehouse man, an honest man of God, and a proactive thought leader. Although I don't have to tell you that, because you already sensed it when you voted for him and made him the first black African American to be elected to Senate in Georgia. Now, while my senator was out on the grounds having real conversations with the people of Georgia, taking on the fight to lower the prices of prescription drugs, while he was honestly and effectively advocating for the people of this state and paving a road towards new and improved tomorrow for students like myself, I don't have to wonder what the other candidate was doing. He said it himself. He was learning werewolves can beat vampires. No, wait. He was polishing his debate props, completely making a mockery of the true bravery and commitment displayed by our force. Or maybe he was up at night watching something he knew was stupid but continued to watch anyway. And now the state of Georgia is unfortunately faced to do the same thing, watching him run for Senate. However, like I said before, today we have a choice. We have a choice to change the channel because we have a vote. Today, we have a choice and a chance to reinforce the fact that this generation of young people are no longer amused, nor will be fooled by political stunts and less than dignified antics by self-serving candidates. We do care. We do understand the power of our presence at the polls, and we will vote. Because if we lose the fire, the passion, the dedication to get out and vote now, we will be left unheard and overlooked for 6 long years. Take this moment right now to be reminded of the effects of passionate people marching to the polls as one and the sacrifices made by those who came before us to make that possible. A vote for Herschel Walker is a vote towards a 6-year circus. But if you believe that this beautiful, historic state deserves a true senator representing us, vote Senator Raphael Warnock back into Senate. Do not stop now, because it is up to us to finish this race, and the polls are our finish line. I'll leave you with the ever so honest words of our 44th president, Barack Obama. The future rewards those who press on. I don't have time to feel sorry for myself. I don't have time to complain. I'm going to press on. I pray you all do the same and get back to the polls. Because today, we vote for a better tomorrow. And I can't wait to see you all there. Thank you.
Please welcome recording artist Lloyd.
Atlanta, Georgia, I need y'all to make some noise. ATL, I need y'all to make some noise. We're going to bring our Arizona to the stage. But ATL, put your hands all the way up and make some noise. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Get low. Get low. Get low. Where we going? Where we going? Where we going? Let's go. Come on. Hands up. Let's go. Hands up. Hands up. Let's go. Now I need y'all to make some noise for Lord.
Now, ATL, I want you to do 3 things with me. For all the generations that sacrificed so much so we can participate and have our voices heard, I want you to look up to the sky and say, we appreciate you. Now, I'm here because I believe Reverend has love for all people, no matter the color, creed, race, or religion. So I want you to look at somebody in this room right now, eye to eye, and say, I respect you. Now they say love starts from the inside, so I want everybody to put one hand over their heart, make this promise to yourself. Say, I love you. So beautiful, ATL. So please accept me for who I am, and please accept me for what I do, 'cause there's no me without you, and all I want is you. Hey world, yeah, I know it's been a while, just thought I'd come around, let you know what's up now. No album lately, my money's kinda up now, I still been taking care of my mama and them somehow. Disappeared from the secret of my own team. Had to find a new approach to the golden dream. And that's not to take a shot at my old team. I just want you to see this is me. So please accept me for who I am. And please accept me for what I do. I'm just doing everything that I can. 'Cause all I want is you. So please accept me for who I am. There's no me without you, and all I want to be is true. I want to be is true. Alright. Qualities if I ever let you down. There's so much stuff that happened, it's hard to talk about. So many lawsuits, my bonus, and don't talk about it. Just had a friend, keep it in till I can talk about it. Can't hold up my sister as a child. Could've had my own now. I lost my baby, it's and home now. But I just had to learn this is me. So please accept me for who I am. Please accept me for what I do. I'm just doing everything that I can. All I want is true. So please of y'all might not know, but I grew up right here in this town in East Atlanta. I went to Avondale Elementary School. And as I look out into this beautiful crowd of beautiful people, it makes me feel so much pride to be a Georgian on this day. They say time is the one currency we spend in life that we never get back. So ultimately, it's not about how much, but what we do with the time that we do have. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of y'all for taking some time out of your day to come here and support the great Reverend Warnock. It takes a village to raise a man, and I know that personally. Having lost my own father to gun violence when I was only a year old. But don't feel sad. This is a celebration because this community helped to raise me to be the best version of myself right here today. I feel so much pride, so much honor to sing this song for y'all. One more time, So please accept me for who I am, and please accept me for what I do. I'm just doing everything that I can, 'cause all I want is true. So please accept me for who I am, and please accept me for what I do. 'Cause there's no me without you, and all I want is true, yeah.
Make some noise for Lord. Ready to turn this into a party, Playboy?
I think we should turn it up.
Let's go.
All right, here's how we gonna do this. Repeat after me, ATL. Somebody say, let's go, Warnock.
Let's go, Warnock.
Somebody say, let's go, Warnock.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
I wanna see everybody dancing in here.
Hands up. Hands up. Hands up. Let's go.
Let the street away. I got my mind on you, baby. See you looking over your shoulder. Let me make my way up.
Let's go.
Tell this lady how to do it. Right in the pocket, I like it. Let's do it. Can I get close so I can get to know you and exchange names and things for the night is over.
Let's go.
It's all up. I really want to back it up, hold me, put your weight on it. It's alright. Do what you want, make me believe it. Ooh, I wanna see it. Only need it. Go ahead and get it, shout it. Only get it, girl. Somebody say ho. Say ho, ho. Can't sit back, let the music drift away. Baby, what you gon' do? Cause I know what to lose it. I'ma keep
Come on.
you just saying how to do it. Right into the light, pursue it. Bring it close, so I can get to know you and exchange names and things for the night is over. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Come on.
It's all up. Really want to back it up, cold, put your weight on it.
Let's go.
'Cause it's alright. Do what you want, make me believe it. Oh, I wanna see it.
Let's go. Hands up. Let's go. Hands up.
I'm only getting shot, baby.
Let's go. Hands up. Let's go.
Say ho,
Oh.
say ho, ho.
Oh. Oh.
Thank you so much for your time tonight, y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sons of Lord.
Gotta get with it. Fight up the bank, walk that down, so many confused.
Straight from the east side ATL. Lloyd is in the building. Represent Warnock today, y'all.
Stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition and yawn and stretch and try to come to life. Jump in the shower and the blood starts pumping. Out on the streets, the traffic starts jumping with folks like me on the job from 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. Barely getting by, it's all taking and no giving. They just use your mind. You're just a step on the boss man's ladder, but you got dreams he'll never take away. In the same boat with a lot of your friends, waiting for the day your ship will come in and the tide's gonna turn and it's all gonna roll your way. Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. Barely getting by, it's all taking and no giving. They just use your mind and you never get the credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. 9 to 5, yeah, they got you where they want you. There's a better life, and you think about it, don't you? It's a
welcome. Please welcome U.S. Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock.
How's everybody doing tonight? I've got one question for you. Are you ready to win this election? Let me say right off the bat that I think it is propitious and fitting that we are gathered in this way tonight on the 67th anniversary of a day when Rosa Parks sat down. And when Rosa Parks sat down, Martin Luther King Jr. and the people of Montgomery, Alabama stood up and changed America. I want you to think about that as we ask you to vote. Because the people of Montgomery stood together for some 381 days, and by some stroke of destiny mingled with human fortitude and determination, they bent the arc a little bit closer to justice. We stand tonight on their shoulders. And then in 2021, hi baby, how are you? In 2021, inspired by movements like that, we built a multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-religious coalition that sent the first African-American senator and the first Jewish senator to the United States Senate in one fell swoop. Then you stood up again during this last general election. And on November 8th, you made sure my campaign finished first. But here's the thing. Even though you made sure my campaign finished first, that doesn't matter if you don't dig even deeper, work even harder, build a movement that's even stronger, and deliver the victory for the people of Georgia on December 6th. Are you ready to win this election? It's time to vote. It's time to vote. Listen, I'm inspired by this strong early vote turnout. I am. But I don't want us to be lulled to sleep. The other side is already playing games. Have you thought about it? We saw record voter turnout last weekend, but don't forget what we had to do just so that could happen. At first, they said the counties could not vote on last Saturday. They said that the law would not allow it. They said, we're sorry, but our hands are tied. And so we thought about it, and then we sued them. And we won. But I want you to hear me now, because this is important for the work we must do. I need you to understand how determined the opposition is. Remember, they said their hands were tied. We sued them, and the judge untied their hands. And then they showed us their hands by appealing the judge's ruling. And we won again. And they appealed again. And we won again. And all weekend and over the last several days, we have seen a diverse and variegated sea of humanity showing up in DeKalb County, in Fulton County, in Cobb County, in Gwinnett County, in Chatham County. And we've got to keep on showing up. We've got to keep on voting. We cannot let up, my beloved, not even for one moment. We've got to keep our foot on the gas all the way to victory. Are you ready to win this election? So, as I ask you to vote, I want you to remember what your vote did the last time. Because you showed up the last time. We passed the single largest tax cut for middle and working class families in American history. It's called the Expanded Child Tax Credit. Because you showed up the last time. We invested in our veterans' benefits because those who fight for us shouldn't have to fight with us to get the benefits they deserve. Because you showed up the last time, we invested in domestic manufacturing because we shouldn't be waiting on chips to come from China. We ought to be making those chips right here in the United States of America. Because you showed up the last time, we capped the cost of insulin and capped the cost of prescription drugs. Because you showed up the last time, we sent a black woman named Ketanji Brown Jackson to the United States Supreme Court. Georgia, I need you to do it one more time. Are y'all ready to get this done? That's right. So tell your neighbors and tell your friends who have not already voted. Tell them that a vote is a kind of prayer for the world we desire for ourselves and for our children. Tell them that your vote is your voice, and your voice is your human dignity. That's right, vote Warnock. Tell them that democracy is the political enactment of a spiritual idea. This notion that each of us has within us a spark of the divine. We were created in what the theologians call the imago Dei, the image of God. And if you're not given to that kind of religious language, that's all right. Our tent is big. Put it this way, we each have value. And if we have value, then we ought to have a voice in the direction of the country and our destiny within it. Georgia, it's time to raise your voice because this race is about character and competence. I know we have political differences. That's part of what makes this country a great country. But let me tell you, in my race, this is not about Republican and Democrat. This is not about right and left. This is about the difference between right and wrong. I love this state, and I love you. I love this state, and I believe in my bones. I believe in my soul that Georgians, Republicans and Democrats, if we're honest, I believe in my soul that Georgia knows that Georgia is better than Herschel Walker. Come on. Georgia is better than Herschel Walker. You deserve a senator who cares enough about the people to actually know the issues. You deserve a senator who will tell you the truth. You deserve a senator who actually lives in Georgia. Now, my 84-year-old mother would tell me to be kind. And I don't mind giving credit where credit is due. Herschel Walker was an amazing athlete, an amazing football player, created a lot of energy at the University of Georgia. He was an amazing running back. And come next Tuesday, we're going to send him running back to Texas. Are you ready to win this election? So Georgia, let me say in closing, and nobody believes a Baptist preacher when he says in closing, let me say in closing that you must know that I want to work for you. I clearly want this job, not for me, but because it gives me a chance to continue my life project of public service in a new way. Here's why you know I want this job. This is the 5th time my name has been on the ballot in less than 2 years for the same doggone job. And the first time my name was on the ballot, I finished first. Georgia, help me to do it one more time. Let's win the future for all of our children. Would you give a great Georgia welcome to a man who needs no introduction? The 44th President of the United States, President Barack Obama. Hello, Atlanta. I'm back. I am back. I know it. Si se puede. I am back. Yes, we can. You know, I know it feels like we just did this. And that's because we did. You get a buy one, get one free deal on elections this year. But I'm here today for the same reason that I was here the last time. To ask you to vote one more time for my friend and your outstanding senator, Raphael Warnock. Now, I know a lot of folks have been voting early over the last few days. That is a good thing. That is an encouraging thing. But, you knew there was a but. Plenty of folks haven't voted yet. Tomorrow is the last day for early voting. And then we need to get people out to the polls on Tuesday, which means we've still got work to do. And you know what? I'm counting on you to do it. A lot of you may be feeling pretty good because a few weeks ago, people turned out to vote, and as a result, Democrats still have control of the Senate. And because of some really concerted efforts in a lot of important states, many of the most egregious, potentially dangerous, and let's face it, somewhat crazy folks, election deniers, got beat. That's the good news. It turns out that most Americans prefer leaders who want to bring people together to solve real problems, as opposed to conspiracy theorists and fear-mongers. That makes me somewhat optimistic. It's good to know that folks would prefer normal to Looney Tunes. That's a good thing. But, and you knew there was a but, I'm here to tell you that we can't let up. I'm here to tell you we can't tune out.
We can't be complacent. We have to run through the tape. And that means all of us doing our part to make sure that Raphael Warnock goes back to being the United States Senator from the great state of Georgia. And I know you can do it because you've done it before. Last year you didn't just send one, you sent two Democrats to the Senate. John Ossoff, Reverend Warnock. And because of what you did, you made all this progress possible. Don't let up. You've been listening. She's been paying attention. How old are you? You're 4 years old. 4 years old, and she understands you can't let up. She could have just summarized my entire talk. Out of the mouth of babes. If voters here in Georgia had stayed home 2 years ago, Republicans would have kept control of the Senate. And they would have blocked every single piece of legislation that President Biden and the Democrats ended up passing. It would have been their top priority. In fact, it probably would have been their only priority. But that's not what happened because of you, because you did not get weary. Because you did not act like everything was over. Democrats took back the Senate and were eventually able to translate that into people's lives being better in concrete ways. Because of you, President Biden and the Democrats, they didn't just rebuild the economy and keep unemployment low during the pandemic. They passed a law that would lower health care costs and prescription drug prices. They passed an infrastructure bill that will put people back to work. They passed the first major gun safety legislation in 30 years. They made the biggest investment in clean energy in our history. That happened because of you, Georgia. And now we need you to do it again. Because for all the progress we've made, we all know we've got a lot of work to do. Right now, too many folks in Georgia and all across the country, they're still hurting. They're still struggling to pay the bills. Parents are still worried about their kids' safety. Too many Americans are wondering if their freedoms could be taken away. And the question is, who's going to actually do something about it? Who's going to fight for you? Is it the party whose main agenda is cutting taxes for the rich and big corporations? The party that wants to gut Social Security and Medicare? Flood our streets with more guns? Decide who you love, when you should start a family? Or is it the party that's trying to put people back to work and lower costs and make healthcare more affordable and keep our communities safe and save our planet and give every woman the ability to make her own decisions about her body? That's the choice in this election. That's what's at stake. And you know, the other side knows this. You heard what Reverend Warnock was talking about. They've spent millions of dollars here in Georgia over the past few weeks trying to get their folks to show up and get you to stay home. Because they know they don't have winning ideas. Their strategy is to scare you and confuse you and bamboozle you, run the okey doke on you, and make you believe that your vote does not matter. Am I right, Mayor? I am right. Here's the thing. That only works if you let it. You have the power to decide this election. You have the power to determine the course of this country. And if you work hard between now and Tuesday, if you get out to vote, but just as importantly, you get everybody that you know out to vote, then nobody is going to stop you. Go ahead. What's your name? Karan. And you said we've got the power? That's that 4-year-old again. She's still paying attention. That's a boy. He just got long hair. You got the power? He's only 4, and he's making sense. Now, there are just a couple more things I got to clear up here. Karan may already know this, but some of the rest of you may not. Some folks are asking, well, if Democrats already have control of the Senate, why does this matter? What's the difference between 50 and 51? The answer is a lot. Let me break it down for you. An extra senator gives Democrats more breathing room on important bills. It prevents one person from holding up everything. And it also puts us in a better position a couple years from now when you've got another election, but the Senate map is going to be tilted in the favor of Republicans. And it'll help prevent Republicans from getting a filibuster-proof majority that could allow them to do things like passing a federal abortion ban. So that one vote in the Senate could make all the difference. But you know what? There's one more reason. And it's the biggest reason. 51 is better than 50 because it means Reverend Warnock will keep representing you in Washington. That's the best reason. That's the number one reason. He was wondering if I was going to get to that. Come on, Reverend, you know I got your back. Let me talk about Warnock just a second. Let me say good things about Warnock. Let me testify. As your senator, Reverend Warnock hasn't been off chasing wacky conspiracy theories. He has not been drumming up fear and division. He's been, you know, Washington, they talk about some folks being show horses and some folks being workhorses. And you got a workhorse here. He's been working to lower prescription drug costs. He's been working to boost manufacturing jobs. He's been working to make sure that our veterans who serve this country honorably have the care that they need. He's been standing up for democracy. He's been protecting a woman's right to determine her own destiny. Reverend Warnock is a workhorse. And he also is a class act. Right? You just like the man. Because you sense his integrity when you talk to him. He's not just hard working, he's God-fearing. He's a community-serving person. He tells the truth. Sticks to his word. Treats everybody with decency and respect, no matter how high or how low. Deals honorably even with those who oppose him. Vote for... Karan also, once again summarized, said, vote for Warnock. I'm telling you, this young man, he getting A's. Straight A's in this class. Now, on the other side, you got Mr. Walker. All right, wait. Don't boo now. Vote. I told y'all that. I told you the last time. Can't nobody hear you boo, but they can hear your vote. All right. So you got Mr. Walker. Look, I was here last time. I think I made clear my thoughts on Mr. Walker. I had to acknowledge, and you know, some of you, you know, everybody here has pretty good home training, right? And so, you know, you're always reticent if you don't have something nice to say about somebody. You don't say it. So I talked about what a good football player he had been. But I also had to acknowledge that I did not think he had either the competence, the character, the track record of service that would justify him representing Georgia in the United States Senate. Now, if you had forgotten what I said the last time, it's okay, because you just have to wait a minute. He reminds you every time he opens his mouth. I mean, every day. Every day he comes up with something. Every day. Since the last time I was here, Mr. Walker has been talking about issues that are of great importance to the people of Georgia. Like whether it's better to be a vampire or a werewolf. This is a debate that I must confess I once had myself. When I was 7. Then I grew up. In case you're wondering, by the way, Mr. Walker decided he wanted to be a werewolf, which is great. As far as I'm concerned, he can be anything he wants to be, except for a United States Senator. Since the last time I was here, apparently he also claimed that he used to let me beat him at basketball. But then he admitted that we've never actually met. So I guess this was more of an imaginary whooping that I laid on him. Now, listen, this would be funny if he weren't running for Senate. We all know some folks in our lives who we don't wish them ill will. They say crazy stuff. We're all like, well, you know, Uncle Joe, you know what happened to him. You know, it's okay. They're part of the family. But you don't give them serious responsibilities. When you spend more time thinking about horror movie fantasies than you do thinking about the people you want to represent, that says something about your priorities. When again and again you serve up bald-faced lies, just make stuff up, that says something about the kind of person you are and the kind of leader you would be if you were in the United States Senate. So, Georgia, look, I'm not telling you something you don't know. You deserve a senator you can be proud of. Somebody who will talk straight to you. Somebody who will fight for you. Somebody who will garner respect in Washington. Somebody like Reverend Warnock, who's been doing it responsibly and conscientiously and effectively, not just in the Senate, not just in the last few years, but his entire adult life. So that's why you need to get out and vote. That's why you can't let up. Because change doesn't happen in one election. It doesn't even happen in 2 elections. It doesn't even happen in 5 elections. Change only happens if you keep organizing, keep voting, keep mobilizing, keep educating, keep speaking up, keep working hard to make change happen. Imagine looking back in history, right after the Emancipation Proclamation. Imagine if all the abolitionists and the civil rights activists had said, oh, everything's going to be okay now, let's go home. Imagine if, after some women, not all women, but some women, got the right to vote, organizers said, oh, all right, I got mine. We're all equal now. Our work is done here. Imagine where we would be. If we want real progress, if we want lasting progress, we can't be satisfied with one victory because victories are always incomplete. History doesn't just move in a straight line, it moves sideways. Sometimes it moves backwards. When we're not vigilant, when we're not working. So we can't allow ourselves to get tired. We need sustained effort. And by the way, not just on Election Day, but every day in between. And when I think about that vigilance, when I think about that stick-to-itness, when I think about finishing the job, there are a couple people that come to mind. The first is Georgia's own, my friend John Lewis. So he and other SNCC workers were my inspiration for going into public service. I was 2 years old when they were mobilizing. I was on the other side of the world, but they were my inspiration. Because armed with nothing more than a backpack and the truth, John Lewis helped lead a long march towards freedom. At the age of 23. And so I had a chance to meet my hero when I was in law school. I was at that point 26, 27. And when I met him, he was everything I had hoped he would be. He was humble. And he was kind. And he was generous. And he took a long moment to talk to me and encourage me. Despite all that he had accomplished, he had no airs about it. But what struck me most about John was not his incredible heroism as a young man, but it's how he kept on marching and protesting. Even after he was elected to Congress, he's getting arrested in front of the South African embassy. He kept standing up for what was right. 1 decade, 2 decades, 3, just kept on going. Even when his cause was unpopular. Even when the spotlight had moved off him. In fact, the last time I saw John was at a virtual town hall that our foundation had organized in the wake of the George Floyd murder. And it was about a month before he passed. He was already ailing. You could tell he did not feel well. But he considered it his duty to stand with a new generation of activists and to help guide them in a principled and inclusive way and remind them that although wrongs needed to be righted, that it needed to be righted with nonviolence and with love and empathy and compassion. Here he was a month before he was about to die, and he kept on going. So that's one person. The other person who comes to mind when I think about persistence is a woman named Ann Nixon Cooper. I talked about her in my first presidential election. You remember we had Grant Park, and I talked about Ms. Cooper, who had contacted us to tell us, to let us know that she had voted for me at 106 years old. She had figured out, no, I'm going to cast this vote. And I spoke about just trying to imagine everything she had gone through, everything she had witnessed in her life. Here's a woman who was born in the shadow of slavery, deep in the midst of Jim Crow. Born before really there were planes in the sky. When you were still, if there were cars, you were cranking them up. A time when black folks didn't have the right to vote and women weren't voting. And yet, here she was, casting her ballot for the first African-American nominee of a major party for President of the United States. She had witnessed that arc of history bend in the direction of justice. Now, John Lewis and Ms. Cooper lived very different lives. One became a civil rights icon. The other wasn't famous. One became an elected official, serving a congressional district here in Georgia with great honor. The other, most people wouldn't know her on the street. But their spirits were linked. Because, I promise you, when John Lewis was growing up, he knew a whole bunch of Miss Coopers out there. Regular folk who, even as they worked, even as they raised families, even as they contributed to their communities, despite unspeakable barriers and discrimination and disappointment, despite everything they were going through just to make ends meet, kept at it. Because of Ms. Cooper's generation, a foundation was laid. Her generation passed on the grace and the courage that allowed John Lewis to do what he was able to do. That was the foundation of the modern civil rights movement. All those folks who didn't get tired. Maids and Pullman porters and sharecroppers working every single day with the possibility that things might get better. And that was John's inheritance. And then he set an example that I would follow, and Reverend Warnock would follow. And I always thought to myself, if Miss Cooper didn't get tired, then I can't be tired. If John Lewis, even in his 70s, wasn't tired, I got no excuses. I can't be tired. And if I'm not tired, you can't be tired. If the men and women who had to endure the sting of discrimination, the smack of billy clubs, weren't tired. If the folks who had to fight those early fights, those were the tough fights for union rights and voting rights and gay rights and women's rights, if they didn't get tired, you can't be tired. So you got to go out there and keep working. You have to stay focused. Because if you do, if you put everything you've got into the next few days, if you vote, if you get your friends to vote and your neighbors to vote, if you do all that, not only will we re-elect Raphael Warnock, not only will we keep Georgia and America on a path to a better future, but we will be setting an example for a 4-year-old right here and laying a foundation for him to build on. And that 1-year-old over there, and I know I saw a 3-month-old here, they're watching right now to see if we're going to get tired, and I'm going to tell them right now, we're not going to be tired. We're going to bring it on home. Let's make this happen, Georgia. I love you. God bless you. Let's finish the job.
1, 2, 3, 4. Waking up in a dream, sleepwalking on another big stage. You never heard peace till you hear people scream your name when you're son. I'm so far away from the place I used to be, struggling usually. Look at the new me, fate pursuing me. I can feel in the air. It feel like I'm supposed to be here.
Everywhere I go, I'm getting so much love from fans and stars. Everyone saying how they can't wait for the OP. And I'm gonna blow, they believe in me. Feel so good in what you do. Help somebody else get through. That's why I do the best I can, because I know how blessed I am. I'm so high, I can touch the sky. I know it's my time, and it's now or never. Shine so bright, I light the night, and it feels so right. Ain't nothing better.
A fool if I take it off a grand.
Take it for a ride. I had a premonition that we fell into a rhythm where the music don't stop for life. Glitter in the sky, glitter in my eyes, shining just the way you like. If you're feeling like you need a little bit of company, you met me at the perfect time. You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating. The Milky Way, we're renegading. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got you, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. You, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. I believe that you're for me. I feel it in our energy. I see it's written in the stars. We can go wherever, so let's do it now or never, baby. Nothing's ever too far. Glitter in the sky, glitter in our eyes, shining just the way we are. I feel like we're forever every time we get together, but whatever, let's get lost on Mars. You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating. The Milky Way, we're renegading. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got you, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. You, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. So you can fly away with me tonight. Baby, let me take you for a ride. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. So you can fly away with me tonight. Baby, let me take you for a ride. Yeah, 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 yeah. My love is like a rocket, watch it blast off. And I'm feeling so electric, down so awesome. And even if I wanted to, I can't stop. Yeah, 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 yeah. My love is like a rocket, watch it blast off. And I'm feeling so electric, down my ass off. And even if I wanted to, I can't stop. Yeah, 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 yeah. You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating. The Milky Way, we're renegading. I got you, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. You can fly away with me tonight. Baby, let me take you for a ride. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. You can fly away with me tonight. Baby, let me take you for a ride. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got you, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. You, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me.
good time. I feel alive. And the world, I'm turning inside out. Yeah. I'm floating around in ecstasy. So don't stop me now. Don't stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time, having a good time. I'm a shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. I'm a racing car passing by like Lady Godiva. I'm gonna go, go, go. There's no stopping me. I'm burning through the sky. Yeah. 200 degrees, that's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. I'm traveling at the speed of light. I wanna make a supersonic man out of you. Don't stop me now. I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball. Don't stop me now. If you wanna have a good time, just give me a call. Don't stop me now. I'm having a good time. Don't stop me now. Yes, I'm having a good time. I don't wanna stop at all. Yeah. I'm a rocket ship on my way to Mars on a collision course. I am a satellite. I'm out of control. I'm a sex machine ready to reload. Like an atom bomb about to explode. I'm burning through the sky. Yeah. 200 degrees, that's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. I'm traveling at the speed of light. I wanna make a supersonic woman of you. Don't stop me, don't stop me, don't stop me. Hey, hey, hey! Don't stop me, don't stop me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Don't stop me, don't stop me. Have a good time, good time. Don't stop me, don't stop me. Supersonic man out of you. Don't stop me now. I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball. Don't stop me now. If you wanna have a good time, just give me a call. Don't stop me now. I'm having a good time. Don't stop me now. I'm having a good time. I don't wanna stop at all.